How about now? My Streamlabs updated. Time for bad lip reading. Pretty much. You know what? You didn't miss much. Okay. um, yeah. So my Streamlabs reset itself, and here we are. This is what I get. So as I was saying, welcome to Waking Up. I am Anna, and this is our and usually with me is my co-host Sean. And I love your voices, but your face. Oh, thanks. This is my our mental health podcast where we talk religious trauma, mental health recovery, and everything in between. The show's sort of evolved over the years. So we do more than talk about religious trauma, which is nice. Sean is dealing some real life stuff, nothing bad. He just had a meeting. So he's not here. So you get me today. You get solo Anna. Woo! Yay. I know y'all are so excited. So let's get through this disclaimer and let's get to the topic today because it's a doozy. Let me tell you, I had like 10 different topics. I was like, okay, what do I actually want to talk about today? And I was just like, you know what, this one seemed fine. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Cause most of my solo streams, I start with a topic and we just derail and we're heading to Chicago. We end up in Albuquerque. I don't know where we go, but you know what? It's fine. So our disclaimer here on Waking Up, we're not here to bash anyone's faith and religion. We think faith and religion are beautiful things when done in a mentally and emotionally healthy manner. I am not a healthcare professional. I do not claim to be one. I utilize the skills from my own healthcare professional. We are not licensed or certified any type of mental health professional. I'm just somebody with a lot of trauma and a lot of therapy under my belt and a lot of work. I know. Happy affiliate anniversary. I know. Guys, crazy. 5 years. I have been an affiliate for 5 years. Isn't that crazy? So I am not a healthcare professional. I am just somebody who is just has a lot of skills and is working through my own trauma and my own mental health issues and just taking it day by day. So anything said on this podcast, please do not take it as any type of mental health advice. Do not take it as any type. It is editorial and entertainment purposes only. But if you do need real mental health help. I gotta say that 3 times. Mental health help. We do have information that can help you get in touch with a true mental health professional. So please, you contact us in the Team AOA Discord, and we will be glad to supply that information for you. Sean and I both grew up in the Carolinas in the 90s, early aughts, and which is Billy Graham territory. We both grew up Southern Baptist, which for those of you who are unaware, Southern Baptist is a denomination, an evangelical conservative denomination of the Protestant Christian faith. And just like we say every week, we don't think that they could get much worse from when we were there, but here we are. Here we are. So, yes. Um, all right. So, from what you guys can see from the title, it's like, in my defense, the dopamine was incredible. Now, this could go a fuck ton of different ways, right? But I'm actually, they said challenge accepted, right? Right? Facts. I was like, that is not a challenge you need to accept. No, 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 no. They do not need to do that. I think you're good. I really feel like they should have just let that one go. Um, so in my defense, the dopamine was incredible. So what am I talking about? Well, I've been doing a lot of internal uh internal evaluation and internal introspection. And I have gotten to a place in my life, and I've gotten to a place with myself that I have been slowly, we've been talking about post traumatic growth for the past few weeks, and it's actually the post traumatic growth. Now that I know about it's really caused me to pause and really take stock of who I am now versus who I used to be. And how I behaved, with how I handled, problems, situations, etc., and so forth. So when you get that good uncut dopamine straight off the boat, yes, except when you get that good uncut dopamine straight off the boat and you realize that it is unhealthy and it is causing you to be in situations and do things that are unhealthy and you don't even realize it. And but what most people, I feel like for myself, I didn't realize how addictive dopamine was. Um, and it's a naturally occurring chemical in your brain. And it's something that you get when you're excited, when you're happy. It's all of those things. But what I didn't realize, I was chasing the dopamine. And here's because I've talked about this before. And is chasing the dopamine within um, my anxious attachment. And we, like I said before, we were talking about my post traumatic growth, and or just post traumatic growth, but specifically, I have been talking about my post traumatic growth because I'm not going to talk about anybody else's because I don't know about anybody else's. So, and I've really been evaluating how I feel about myself, my relationships, my relationships to other people, my how I feel when approaching relationships. And when I say relationships, that includes friendships, family, also romantic, because fuck, the dating pool is so fucking great right now. It's fantastic. It's great. Especially when you are you know what? Here, I'm gonna say this right now, and I'm gonna stand by it. The dating pool is great, and you can find the love of your life if you're willing to sacrifice your standards and you're willing to let things go. You can easily find a date, and you can easily find somebody if you're willing to just ignore all the fucking red flags that are out there. You know what? And that it's the dopamine rush. The dopamine rush. I had asked somebody, I was like, "Do you remember when dating used to be fun?" And I got into this discussion with somebody. It's like, was dating actually fun, or was dating and the unknown giving you the dopamine rush that you needed and the validation that you needed? And I sat there and I went, "Bitch, I don't need you to call me out like that. I don't need you to call me out like that today." The dating pool may be nice and all, but I'm not willing to get my socks wet, and these socks are comfy. New dating site, red flag circus, facts. Um, but and I know I have talked about this on the show before, and but yeah, my ADD is going great today, but when I've done all my trauma work and I've done all my healing and I'm working through a lot of the stuff that I've worked through in my relationships with people and et cetera and so forth, and I have come to the realization that I am so different. So different, like 180 degrees different from when I met my ex. And just how I approached how I feel within my own body, how I feel within meeting new people and relationships and expectations. And I came to discover about myself, brought to you by Trauma and Audacity. Also facts. And just doing a self-evaluation. And I think for me, I have to do that every now and then because a lot of times I question, and we all get to that when we're working on ourselves and 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 our nervous system gets triggered and all this stuff. You wonder if you've actually done the work. You wonder if you've actually come a long way. You wonder if you've actually done the things. And I've had to do the evaluation of myself, and I've talked about it with my therapist, and I said nothing feels right. And I was talking about dating and relationships, and I was like, I've done all this healing work, and I know I'm in a good place. I feel very secure in myself. Feel very secure in who I am. I'm okay with sitting by myself, sitting alone. I'm okay with all of these things that I used to not be. But at the same time, I always wondered, and I was telling her, I was like, but I don't feel because I'm attracted to people. There are people out there that I'm very attracted to that I'm like, I like being around you. I like talking to you. I think you're cute, but I don't feel this whole body intensity. And I was talking with her and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Am I broken? Like, will I never feel the spark again? And she goes, what if you're feeling the spark? But the spark is not is a full on like inferno dumpster fire. I was like, what? She goes, and we talked about this before. It's like, it's fireworks versus fireplace. Fireworks are intense and they're beautiful and they fill up the sky and they're ooh and ah and everybody like loves them and it's just gorgeous and it's all the time and it's intense, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Eventually, the fireworks end versus the fireplace. There has to be a spark that starts the fire. There has to be a spark that builds this fire and intensity, but it's sustainable. It's quieter. It's more versatile. It's longer lasting. And it's not nearly as showy, but it doesn't make it any less romantic. It doesn't make it any less sexy. It's just a different, healthier way of doing it. And I was like, what? Oh. So since that conversation, since having all of that, I really have been also, you talked about PTSD. Here's one thing I figured out. To me, it's not PTSD if you're still going through it. Can't be post if it's still happening. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, Paragon. I don't. I think I think because PTSD is post traumatic stress disorder, yes. But CPTSD is long consistent exposure to the trauma. So I feel like yes, it may not be PTSD to a one traumatic event, but it might be CPTSD, which is long exposure to the trauma. So you can still have PTSD, but it's I feel like it leans more towards CPTSD. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like that's my personal opinion. Just because of the difference between the two. They're very, very different. But if we're talking about dating, I mean, facts. But we've talked, and I know Sean and I have talked about this before. Is I used to be because of my CPTSD, because of the narcissistic mom, and because I was raised in an environment where um, it was just emotionally unstable. It was push and pull. There was all these things. I developed such a severe anxious attachment style that first off, I thought I thought it was borderline. I really did. I thought it was borderline when again, like I said, like in my trauma therapy, realized it wasn't borderline. It was CPTSD with severe anxious attachment under all of the narcissistic abuse and emotional manipulation, which is it's a whole line of things going through. But the anxious attachment was so strong. It was so strong. The fear of abandonment, the fear of not being lovable, the fear of everything. It was consuming. It was a like, is it your trauma or is it your personality? It was abso-fucking-lutely my trauma. I don't like I now that I'm here in my PTG, I am sitting in this thing going, I can't. It is very difficult for me to imagine being that person again because I've worked so hard and I have come out the other side, a different person. I have come out of the other side. But when I was deep in it, that anxious attachment ruled everything that I did and it was consuming. It was consuming. It consumed like, why aren't they texting me back? Okay, well, you have free time, so you need to call me all the time. Okay, well, we need to spend all our time together. Because if you're not talking to me, if you don't want to talk to me, if you don't want to share your day with me, if you don't want to be with me, if you don't want to enmesh your life with me, that means I'm not good enough. That means that you don't love me. If you are at doing something, hell, I got to the point to where if somebody was working and like I was like texting them and they weren't texting me back within like at least 10 to 15 minutes, in my head, I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God, they don't love me anymore. Oh my God, they don't see it. Like, why aren't they answering me back? Why I know they have I know they have a smartwatch. I know they can see my text messages. Why aren't they texting me back? Why aren't they acknowledging me? The least they could do is send me an emoji." Like, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And really it was because I struggled with relationship permanence. And for those of you who don't know what object permanent is, for those of you who haven't taken child development classes, welcome, welcome. I have. And so object permanence is when, and most of you know this is how you're able to play peekaboo with like younger kids. It's you cover your face and then you show them. So they think when they can't see, when the baby and the child cannot see, they feel like the object has disappeared. Um, and relationship permanence is very similar in that, and very similar, especially with those with severe anxious attachment or just an anxious attachment in general, is if you or I are not constantly in each other's presence or talking to each other or et cetera and so forth, then that must mean there's trouble in our relationship and something is wrong. And it It kept me it kept me in a place. It kept me in a place that was so unhealthy. It kept me in a place of constant anxiety, if I'm being 100% honest. A constant anxiety, constant text messages. It wasn't being me trying to connect, me constantly calling, me text messages, constantly trying to, insert myself into somebody's life. It was fear. And me sending the text messages, me trying to be on the phone all the time, me constantly trying to be like just sending whatever was it, trying to make sure that they didn't forget me. It wasn't it was trying to make sure that I was keeping the relationship at the forefront of their mind because the relationship was in the forefront of my mind, because if the relationship was the thing that was giving me validation, it was giving me security. I needed them to constantly validate me, constantly reassure me. I needed them to constantly, hello, constantly be there for me and reassure me because I was struggling. I was struggling with this. I think this person is wonderful. And I was struggling with insecurity. So the insecurity was driving that bus, which was driving the anxious attachment. And it was terrible. It was terrible because it was never enough. It was never enough. And this wasn't just with romantic partners. This was with friendships. This was with this is professionalism, like constantly trying to be that overachiever, constantly trying to make sure that I was seen, constantly to make sure that nobody else outshined me so that I was always, I was always being talked about, that I was always, that's where the perfectionism and overachieving came in, is because I wanted to be the forefront in everybody's minds, because if I wasn't, then I didn't matter. And And I'm looking back on that person now, and I was like, I was chasing that dopamine. I didn't realize how much, which we talked about that several shows this past month. How as I was younger and I was in the darkest part of my trauma, how I was chasing the dopamine because especially with the romantic relationships, I didn't care who it was. I didn't care who it was. I didn't care if it was a red flag, if they weren't a red flag. I just needed them to reassure me and validate me and be there for me anytime I called or beckoned or any of those things, because I needed to not feel bad and I needed to feel wanted and secure. And the only way that I could feel wanted and secure was if they were always there. Because if they weren't talking to me, if I wasn't always with them, if I wasn't always who they wanted me to be, well, that that means the relationship's in trouble, right? Because because if they loved me, they would want to talk to me all the time. If they loved me, they would want to be, you know, supportive. If they wanted to, it's like the anxious attachment in your body literally it is a constant. Your body is always constantly on edge, and the only time that you feel relaxed, and the only time when you're anxious attachment you feel relaxed, is when you get that shot of dopamine. You get that shot of and you are just you like it's either through sex, it's through most of the time for me it was through the love bombing. It was that shot of dopamine. And then the dope and just like with alcoholics or alcohol or drugs, it's like you get that shot and your body relaxes, and it's like, oh, okay, everything's good. Everything's good because we had great sex. Everything's good because they're texting me constantly. Everything's good because they're reassuring me. Everything's good because they're giving me gifts. Everything's good. Everything's good until the dopamine wears off. And then it's a shit show again. And then I go into a panic. And I have made some really, 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 really shitty decisions in in relationships and just in general, um, because the dopamine was so good. It's okay. Thanks. Um, but I look back on who I was back then, and I look on how desperate I was, so fearful, and so afraid that if somebody was actually living their life and being who they were, and their 100% of their attention wasn't on me, then that means I wasn't important. And it was such a lonely, empty place. So your friends shrank to a tiny size and you saw them in your food as you were eating. Would you have acting like you were about to eat them for a joke to scare them? No. No. I'm not that person. If I saw them in my food, I would probably pick them up with a spoon and, like, just turn them over and, like, hide them under the spoon, but I wouldn't pretend to eat them. I would I don't think, I think for me, I don't think fear is funny. I don't think it's just a joke is funny. I think that, if they're mean, then there's obviously something going on, and that says a lot more about that person than it does me. And when, for me, if somebody is mean to my friends or mean to me, that says a lot about that other person. And two, the only thing that I can control is how I react to that. And I think that, oh, pretending like if they were shrank down and were pretending to get eaten was, ha ha ha. Okay, well, now you know, fucker. Like, is that going to be, or is that just going to make them meaner? It's like, what's the goal? What's the end goal for me? Um, and so, I can't control them. Oh, well, thank you. I can't control the other person. I can't control if they're being mean, that says a lot more about them than it does me. And the only person that I can control is myself. And if they're being mean to somebody that I love and I care about, will I stand up and defend them? Yes, but it is how I do it that would be different. So that is the answer to your question. It's not. I just don't think scaring somebody as a joke to scare them straight. If it was friend, you would do it as a playful joke. I don't know if I would pretend to eat them because my luck, if it was my friends would try and jump down my throat and like, I don't pull a molar. So if it was my friends, again, I feel like I would probably just like flick them across the room or like across the table. So, yeah. So down the hatch. um, but yeah, and it's okay. For me, it's okay. Like looking back on who I was back then, it's one of those. I want to give her a hug. I want to give the old Anna, the anxious attachment Anna. I want to give that part of me a hug. I used to be really ashamed of it. I used to feel really bad about it because I really did. I felt so, especially when I started my work. We start taking that accountability. We start taking on that whole bullshit of which is it is again, and we say this often in this podcast often, healing fucking sucks and healing is hard, and having to face yourself and really stop running, stop making excuses, stop blaming other people. And when you really stop and you turn around and you look on the destruction that was done to you and the destruction that your trauma caused you to do to other people, it's fucking hard. And the shame and the guilt that comes with that. And this part really has taken me a long, long time. And still, I still struggle with it to this day because the people that I hurt, the people that I was involved with, the people that I was just chasing, I was in love with love. I wasn't in love with those people. And what I was in love with was not love. What I was in love with was the dopamine. Limerence is fucking real. And limerence is that fucking addiction that gets you and it's intense. It's that person of like, "Ugh, I wanna be around them all the time and every day, and I'm going to surrender everything I am, and I'm gonna plan this whole entire future with her, and let's" yeah. And what I realized was it was just me trying to feel better because I didn't feel secure in myself. Cute. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Not anymore. I feel like that's my please don't sue me, Meatloaf. I love you. um, see, and then I started doing my healing. Um, and I started realizing I was chasing people and I needed people because I was afraid of being alone with myself. The dopamine was the drug that was keeping me, the dopamine was the addiction that was keeping me from being alone in my thoughts. And you know what the sick, twisted part about all of it is? The sick, twisted part about all of it is that when you're chasing after relationships, when you can't be alone with yourself, when you can't go with a day without somebody, that's not healthy. That's not love. That's fucking dopamine. And that's not relationship permanence. And I started healing and I started doing my work and I started setting boundaries for myself. I started realizing who I am, what I want. I started digging into root causes and I started really, really understanding what the difference between the intensity versus the reality. And I realized after a while, though the fireworks are great, and I love fireworks, and 4th of July is coming up, so I'm so excited about that. But the fireworks are great and it's intense, and sometimes the sex is really great, especially when you're in like hardcore deep limerence phase and you're declaring your love and you think and it's all of these things and it's great, but it's not sustainable. And I kept wondering to myself, why? And then I kept blaming myself. It's me. I'm too intense. I'm too much. That's where the feeling of I am too much came in. And over time, and over very many, many painful, lonely nights and painful realizations, and a lot of deliberate choices for myself, I stopped and I came to the realization I don't want that anymore. I want the fireplace. I want somebody who I can just go, "Hey, I'm going away with the weekend with some of my friends." And they go, "Okay, I love you. Be safe. Let me know if you need anything." And it's not a, "Where are you going? Who are you with? Why are you doing this? Why don't you want to spend the weekend with me?" Because I did that. Constantly texting them, constantly making sure that I was checking in with them, constantly making sure because if I wasn't doing that, then the relationship was in trouble, right? That's not healthy. And then I I started healing and I started doing these things and yeah. So here I am, 3 years into trauma work, never trusting the fucking dopamine. Realizing that I was running like, with the realization now that I'm, like, into the dating scene, and let me tell ya, the dating scene is wild. It is wild, especially when you're in your 40s and you're especially when you're in 40s and you have 0 tolerance for bullshit and unhealthy. It's wild. Because, like, if I'm willing to accept the unhealthy and the, "Oh, well, those" and it's not that I even have high standards. I just want, like, accountability, transparency, like, shit that is, like, that should be standard. Apparently, it's not. Oh, and always the red flag when they talk negative about their ex and can't say anything positive about their ex, you are out the door. Like, and somebody's like, "Oh, well, that's being judgmental." No, it's not. No, it's not. Because yes, you could have had a shitty marriage and they could have been shitty to you. And yes, they could have built you up, but like, if there's no mutual accountability to that, mm-mm. No, I'm not having that. But that's where I'm at. It's not one of those, well, I'm willing to look over that. And I just trust I hear stories from my sis, right? Me and MJ. Girl, girl and I have exchanged stories. It's one of those. Yeah. But it's okay because I am this is where the growth happens. This is where I get to sit and be happy and secure in myself. And it's this I can't explain it to you. I would much rather, like, I'm telling you, I am 100% telling you. And for any of you that know, no. For any of you that know, no. That intensity, that I'm saying I love you after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and you're planning a future after 2 months, and you're engaged after 6. And yes, yes, there are exceptions. There are exceptions, but the exceptions are that both people are putting in a lot of work, that both people are coming together, and usually that's not the case, usually. But I am not saying, I will never say 100% or, categorically that everything happens that way. But usually, at least for me, the limerence is great. The dopamine is fucking addictive. And the intensity of it is so addictive. And it's also so exhausting because I'm not seeing reality and I am not seeing the red flags. And I am making excuses for the red flags, and I'm willing to make the excuses for the red flags because the dopamine, the rush is so great. And it's so different now. Because, like, when I was feeling it in my body, when I was deep into the severe anxious attachment, and I thought, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I thought I would never thought I would never get to secure attachment, especially when I started my trauma work, and especially when I started, doing my anxious attachment work, and I started doing all of these. I thought I would n I thought anxious attachment was, was not in it, and I also thought, oh, here's the other thing, oh, especially because, like any other thing, when you're deep into, like, addicted to something, when you're because I'm sorry, people are addicted to the dopamine rush, period, end of story. They are, like, they have to have it. The intensity of it, the rush of it, and whatever gives you that dopamine, it varies. But, like, that intensity, like, especially when you're in the beginning of it, there is nothing that anyone can say to you that you will listen to. And it's one of those, well, they're just jealous because they don't know how like they're just jealous because they don't have what we have. They're just jealous. No, boo boo. We're just trying to help. They were just trying to help me. I don't know how many people it's just like, well, you just don't understand because, this is different. Is it different? Is it? And that's the thing that I like when I look back on my younger self and I look back on the anxious Anna, it's like I look back on that and I go, was it different? Really, really look, really take an evaluation, really take into stock. Was what you had with them really different? Or was it or was it just me needing validation so badly that I was willing to ignore the love bombing and red flags and manipulations? And I was willing to sacrifice everything for that dopamine hit. And then it was like any other drug addict, if you withdrew it, if you let it go, I would do anything for that one little hit. And that's where I got caught up in breadcrumbing because my anxiety, my anxious, my need for validation, my need for love, my need for attachment. Like I was so caught up in this person, these people that I needed, that I was willing to accept breadcrumbs and less than what I deserved. I was not willing to do the healthy thing because I just needed that. I just needed that one hit. And just when, and it never fails, and just when I'm just like, you know what? Maybe this isn't good for me. You know what? Maybe I actually need to start doing other things. That's when they would drop a breadcrumb and I would be hooked right again. Dopamine is it's a powerful drug. It's a powerful chemical. And here I am. I still get dopamine rushes. I still look for the dopamine. It's just different. It feels different. And it's actually scarier. It's so scary because now I I'm okay with myself. I'm okay with being alone. Do I want romantic love? Do I want somebody to buy me flowers and compliment me? And do I want the pursuit? Yeah, I want all that shit. Who doesn't? I mean, some people don't. Don't get me wrong, some people don't. But I don't need I don't need somebody to complete me. And I was having this discussion with a friend of mine, and we were talking about how back when you were in your 20s and you were young, before kids, before the marriages, before all these things, that shit is better than drugs, right? Facts. So before all the things, before you were older and wiser and all of these things, hopefully you're older and wiser. Some of you just got older and are still repeating the things when you were 20s. You know, and no shame. Everybody has their own healing in their own time. Trust me, it took me forever to figure that out, but here I am. I'm in a different place. So um, it's one of those, I don't need somebody to complete me. I don't need a relationship to validate me. And I also don't want to be with somebody who constantly needs me to validate them and their existence and how they feel and what they think. And I don't need that from them. Please don't bring, you can leave that shit at the door because that's exhausting and I don't have time for that. And it's not that I don't love you, and it's not that I don't care about you, and it's not that I don't think that you're wonderful, and it's not that I don't think that, but there is a different type of like intention behind it. If I can't go a whole day where I only talk to you for 15 minutes, that says more about me than it does about the relationship. and I'm okay. Just as long as you're upfront and honest with me. Hey, I'm really tired and I've had a long day at work. They've kicked my ass. I've been going nonstop and I really just want to come home. Uh I really just want to watch TV and just go to bed. Can we just talk tomorrow? How I react to that text message is so different. Asking for time to fill in whatever is missing in your identity is too much to ask of anyone. Yes, exactly that. But how I handle a text message like that now, completely different than how I was handling a text message back before I started doing my trauma work and my attachment work. Because I would answer I would answer the same. Okay, honey, I know. I love you. Do what you need to do and we'll talk tomorrow. Okay. The response was the same. What's going on in here? Completely different. Because then I would send that and then I would panic. Like, well, like anxious Anna would panic, going, oh my God, what did I do? Am I not good enough? All these things. Then I would, like, the next day, I would just blow up their phone. Like, how are you doing? What are you doing? Can we get together? Like, are you doing okay? I'm going to do all these things. Like, just constantly trying to be in their face because if they were tired, because my thought process is if they had a long day, if they just like, wouldn't they want me? Wouldn't they because after a long day, a hard day, I want them to regulate me. So why don't they want me to regulate them? That doesn't make any sense. Cut to post-traumatic growth, Anna. Cut to secure attachment, Anna. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I know. I'm sorry you had a rough day. Do what you need to do. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay. Message sent. Put the phone down. And I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, I am just like, I'm going about my business. I'm like, now I'm doing whatever I want to do for the evening and I'll just talk to them tomorrow because they told me they needed to vet. They needed time. And it doesn't mean that has anything to do with me or the relationship. That just means they are expressing a need for some space, which everyone needs. And that is another thing that I didn't understand. Oh my fucking God. Oh, space. Okay, let's talk about autonomy and space. The difference between when I was oh fuck. Oh fuck. Y'all. Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Okay, anyway, sorry, I went on a total nerd rant right there. But space, autonomy, who I am inside the relationship as well as outside of the relationship, two totally different things and two totally different times. Like for real. Like when I was anxious, and trust me, okay, I am not saying that anxious attachment doesn't quit because that is all dealt, that is all solidified and wonderfully secured in your childhood from your caregivers. It's fantastic. Let me tell you. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for that gift. Um, along with all the other stuff you gave me. So it, it was nothing was worse and more painful and more fearful for me than space and autonomy. I think that's why I thought I had BPD, and I think because I was so anxiously attached. I was so afraid that if I wasn't the person that person wanted me to be, and they didn't want to be around me all the time, and we didn't like the same things, and we weren't literally talking or texting or with each other 24 hours a day, then that meant that there was something wrong with me, and honestly, that means they couldn't regulate me, that they couldn't make me feel secure. They couldn't do these things. Like, trust me, I have ruined more relationships because of that ever. That is where the "you're too much" came in, and then which hurt me. It's like, "You're too much. You're a lot," because I wasn't allowing them to be who they were. And honestly, the expectation is that I was expecting them to validate who I was. And honestly, And if we're also going at this 100% honestly, I was afraid of the space because I was spent so much of my time trying to be the people pleaser, sacrificing myself, being the chameleon, morphing myself, trying to morph myself into a person that they wouldn't want to leave, that they wouldn't want to not be around, that they morphing myself into a person that they had to be with all the time, that I never was who I was. So the fear was always if I gave them space and we did our own thing, then the relationship must be in trouble. And also, I don't know who I am without you. And I can't imagine being that person now. I honestly can't. And I'm so like I think that that's where I look back on myself and I look back on the work that I've done and everything and just going, I'm so fucking proud of you. When I tell myself I'm proud of myself because I don't need somebody else to make me regulate or need to regulate. I don't need to be with somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to know that that person and feel secure that that person loves me or cares about me or is thinking about me. Is it nice? Yeah. Is it nice when I get a random text going, "Hey, I think you're wonderful." Thanks. That's so sweet. And when I'm not chasing the dopamine, when I am clear-headed, when I do because like I said, the anxious attachment is very firmly secure. The anxiety is always going to be the triggers are always going to be there. Always. I hate to say always, you know how I feel about that, but, this is something that it's one of those things that will never go away. W we can we can become secure. I have become securely attached to myself and to other people, but I am coming at it from a foundation. Again, post traumatic growth is not ignoring the trauma. It is remember, it is the foundation on which your growth is built on. So I am securely attached now. I'm a secure attachment person, but it is built on a foundation of anxious attachment. So I have to acknowledge both sides. So now I am this secure, like I'm okay with it. But when in those times when I get triggered, in those times when I start having those feelings of, oh, their tone is off, or maybe they've had a hard day and they're just like, hey, I'm tired. And they just don't want to talk to me. And my brain starts going, oh, are they fuck, did they not like me anymore? Do they not like what did I do wrong? Are they lying to me? Are they like when I start having those, I recognize it for what it is because my feelings are valid. My feelings of fear that I am getting abandoned is real, but I then have to ground myself in the reality of it's okay. They need space and let them breathe. And there's this one that says, when ordinary started being enough. And I'm like, thank you. Well, thank you. Uh, sorry, that is one of those compliments. I'm like, thanks. Maybe like, are you gonna again? dating is a wasteland, you should see some of the comments that I get. I think I had one where it's like, there's a NASA joke in there where all the space, right? Um, sorry, like, or I take a second, but one of the one of the responses to one of my dating profiles was, "Oh, you are so hot. How can I put a ring on that?" I was like, "What?" Like, that's insane. That I'm sorry. Does that work for you? Like, that's like I just have to laugh at stuff like that because I don't need somebody. I mean, I could marry you if I well, thanks. Um, but that's like, I don't stuff like that doesn't land the same anymore. I like, when I was in an unhealthy state, that would hit me, like, every stuff like that, every like, every comment about how beautiful I was and how smart I was and how like, hits different. It hits different when you're so unhealthy and you need the external validation to feel good about yourself. Now, I don't need the external validation to feel good about myself. So when I see comments like that, it I I take it for what it is. It is a compliment. Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. But it's not oh god, sometimes I feel like anybody who's played Fallout, I feel like it's a stim pack sometimes. Oh, that's the best way. Okay, all right, we're gonna go fucking nerdy on all this shit. Are you ready? You ready? You ready? 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 So, like, for anybody who has either seen the Fallout show or played Fallout, there's these stim packs, and they're like these big long needle things with like a thing, and um Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. If it's from somebody you love or care about or that you want, absolutely, it would hit different. But so, like, Fallout, it's like and you hear it and it's like, and it, like, refills, it heals you to a certain extent. Sometimes it heals you all the way, or sometimes it heals you to a certain extent, especially when you're really, really low. And that is how that is the best way to describe it. That is how I would treat the dopamine when I was anxiously attached. When I was in an anxiously attached state, when I was in an anxiety state, when I was in a lack of relationship permanence, when I thought for sure that they were abandoning me and I was in a truly dysregulated, anxious state, especially in a romantic relationship, I would do anything to get literally that shot, that hit of, I need that reassurance. I need you to replenish me. I need you to save our relationship in my head. I need you to save my relationship by reassuring me, by telling me I'm beautiful, by telling me I'm smart. And how I would do that. Why do you love me? Tell me why you love me. I missed you today. Can you tell me, did you miss me? I needed the reassurance. And when that didn't work, I would start something. I think I'm in that state right now. Yeah. Oh, damn. Yes. So it's like, and then so I would need I would ask the question, why do you love me? You know why I love you. I love you because, yeah. No, do you think I'm beautiful? Tell me when you thought I was the most beautiful. Tell me for the 80 millionth time why you fell in love with me. Tell me about what you thought about me when you first saw me. Tell me about the time when we had the best sex. And every time I would ask for that reassurance and every time they gave it to me, it was like a fucking stim pack to the fucking neck. And then I felt secure. I felt like our relationship could sustain a little bit longer. Our relationship was safe because I was feeling insecure and anxious. Not you being one of those toxic. Yep, I was. I was absolutely 100%. What are you doing? Where are you going? Tell me I'm the prettiest all the time. All the time. I was. But what if that's our type? Then everybody has a type. If that's your type. I mean, then I'm not it. Everybody's at a different place in their life. Everybody's at a different place in where they are mentally and emotionally, and that's okay. She knows we've been friends for a hot minute. It's okay. Um, and then and I don't even know if I'm being 100% honest, I don't know when it happened. I don't know when the growth happened. I don't know when the switch happened. I don't. I wish I could say I did. I wish there was some big revolutionary moment, and I'm sure there is one. I'm at some point, I think, but I think it was just a bunch of. It was really me starting to work on me, allowing myself to of sit in the discomfort of being by myself. The choices of looking at my phone every 15 minutes and coming and just becoming self aware. I am being consumed in my day by trying to make sure that I'm checking for their text messages. And if they're not texting me, does that mean they don't like me anymore? Maybe, maybe not. But am I okay if that's the case? Because before it wasn't okay. But now it's a choice of going, I'm checking my phone, hoping for a text, and maybe they don't text me. And realizing and coming aware, hey, okay, I'm getting really focused on this. And, I'm just going to put it down and focus on me. And the difference in just you started doing more things for yourself. Yeah. I think that the stark difference between, as an example, the stark difference between when I met um, my ex and how I felt about him and how the relationship started and how intense it was and how I was so in love with him and I worshiped the ground that man walked on, like, let's be really, and like I did, and I just and it was intense. It was so fucking intense. It was full bodied. It was intense. And I just knew, like, this whole body feeling. Nobody's ever made me feel this way. And when the limerence started wearing off, when the newness, the honeymoon phase started wearing off, and it wasn't anything bad happened, but the panic set in. The panic set in because real life started happening and all of these things, and it didn't feel as intense anymore. And then the fear set in. And the fear of losing him became so great that the anxiety and the anxious attachment just took over. And I would have given anything for just another moment of that. And it was intense. It was so intense. And it really, that dopamine in the first 6 months of any relationship back then felt so good. And if you know, you know. But that's when it started wearing off, it's when I was like, "Why do you love me? What do you mean you can't tell me? Do you think I'm pretty? Do you think I'm beautiful? Do you think I'm wonderful? How much do you love me?" And I didn't realize that's on me. That was me. There's a whole lot of things I can go into that, but I won't because I mean that's fine. But I'm using that as an example because the difference is between that person and who I am now. I think it's the Rome wasn't built in a day thing. We didn't become the way. Yup. How did you deal with the fear of losing someone? Because that's what I'm low key. I'm going through right now. Okay. I will get back to that. Let me finish what I'm saying, and then I will get back to that. But where I'm at now is it's a calmer. When I approach relationships now with people, it's quieter. And it's so bizarre, and I'm telling you, it's so like, where I'm at now and the way I approach romantic relationships and people that, I'm talking to or I might go out with, like, I approach them and it's so different because it's not about like, yes, do I am I attracted to them? Do I like being around them? It's not oh this wild intensity. It's not this fire, this oh you're so hot, I have to have you now and I always want to be with you and blah blah blah. What I'm enjoying so much about now is I am existing as myself in this with this other person and I'm enjoying your company and yeah, I think you're attractive or and I like how I like our conversations together, but it's not needy. It's quiet. And it's so unnerving. Like, the first couple of dates I went on, I was just sitting here and I was going, "Do I Because I was so unfamiliar. The security was so unfamiliar. It's like, I like this person, I'm attracted to this person, I enjoy being in their presence, but I'm not feeling this, and this is where I was talking with my therapist about fireworks versus fireplaces. Because 'cause I'm like, "Am I ever gonna like, is this a thing? Am I destined to feel beige and gray?" And she's like, "Is it beige and gray, or is it the fact that you're no longer feeling the anxiety and the toxicity and the insecurity anymore?" First off, hooker, I don't need you being good at your job. Like, she goes, maybe it's not the trauma. It's not the fucking hit of dopamine. She didn't say fucking, but she's like, it's not the dopamine rush. And I was like, she goes, just try to be more present and mindful of where you are. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, and it's so different. So it's approaching in this if somebody doesn't text me for a couple days, I'm not over here going I mean, yeah, do the thoughts go in my head? Oh, well, they haven't talked to me in a few days. I hope everything's okay. And if I mean, for me, I'll send a check-in text. Hey, you okay? You doing all right? I haven't heard from you in a while. And if there's a no response or a dismissive response, I'm like, okay, well, that's okay. Well, I'm going to you know what? Balls in your court. I am no longer chasing after people. I am not chasing after people. I am not doing that. I am not chasing. And I think Beardful Me and I were actually having a discussion about there is a difference between pursuing a relationship because pursuing somebody is something with intention, but chasing somebody, chasing after the relationship is like desperation. And I am not needing to chase anymore. I am perfectly okay with not chasing. And it's not like I'm like, "Oh, they can come find me." No, 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 it's not that. Because 'cause I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there has to be mutual benefits. There has to be mutual communication. Because otherwise, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not. Phone chasing, right. There's a huge difference. Chasing is desperation. Chasing after the affection, chasing after the dopamine, chasing after all of that stuff. Um, but to go back to how did you deal with the fear of losing somebody? I sat in it. And I know that's not I wish there like my therapist says, I wish there was something that I could tell you that wasn't I accepted it. I sat with it. And I think I it sucks. And accepting that it sucks. Accepting accepting I really, really, really care about this person. I really like this person. I really want to be with them. But I am, again, I'm not chasing after somebody who doesn't want me because I don't need to be validated, because I don't want to be loved by someone who I have to jump through hoops for. That's not love. Oh, oh, here's another one. Here's another one. I don't give a fuck what you buy me. I don't give a like, I used to oh, fuck. I used to think the more presents, like, I bought them and they bought me was a physical representation of, like, of their love for me. Like, please don't buy my love. You can't buy my love. I don't is a gift nice? Flowers, etcetera, and so forth, but yeah, they are. But it's the expectation of, I need you to pay for things and pay for dinner all the time and buy things for me, like, don't you because it builds this expectation. Like, I don't need you to pay for shit. I am perfectly capable of buying my own meal. I am perfectly capable of paying my own bills. If you wanna do something nice for me, but don't expect something in return. And also, in reverse, do not expect me to pay for you or buy things for you, like, that is a symbol of how much I love you. Presents, I keep like, I thought about this the other day. Presents, P-R-E, presents, like, as in gifts, is not the same as presence, is not the same as being present. A present is not the same as being present. I am going to say that again for the fucking people in the back because apparently some people need to hear this. I don't know. A present is not the same as being present. I don't give a shit how much money you make. I don't give a shit if you're offering to be my sugar daddy. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff because you know what? You know what? I can take care of myself. I'm good because money comes and goes. I don't care how expensive the gift is. And so many, oh, it's slimy. It's just slimy. Let me try and buy your affection. Why? Because you are toxic as fuck and are trying to look over here. It's like some slimy corporation. Here, I'll pay you $1 million. Just ignore the sludge that I'm dumping in your river. That's exactly what I feel like when people try to buy presents for me instead of actually being present with me. Again, anxious attachment versus secure attachment. Right now, like back when I was anxious attachment, that was a totally different price tag. Look how much they love me. They want to, they bought me all these things and they thought about me. Isn't that thoughtful? Now I'm just like, okay. Well, I'm glad you brought me a present. I am not ungrateful for any gift that is given to me, but don't expect the gift to replace you actually putting in the effort. Okay. Okay, Splenda, uncle. Fuck, I love you. Count me now. That's awesome. It depends on the car. Awesome. Okay, but the amount of money you spend does not replace the amount of effort you need to put in. Period. End of story. You can buy me as many gifts as you want as long as you understand the expectation and is still the same. I still expect somebody to reciprocate on communication, to be transparent, to be honest with me, to have communication. Like I still expect the effort to be put in. Now, are there times where, am I accepting of that sometimes you can't always put in 100%? Yeah, I understand that. Life happens. Life happens and I'm okay with that. But when life happens, just like Beard for Me was said, when it becomes a pattern instead of just like an occasional thing happening, and you just say, "Oh, well, I know I've been shitty, so here's a gift," or "Oh, I don't know how to talk with you, or I don't know how to be real with you, or I don't know how to connect with you, so here's a fucking gift." Take that shit out the door. I'm sorry. I don't care how much money you spend. This is where the dopamine doesn't fucking matter to me anymore. That's nice. I'm so glad you got me a gift because what? A present does not equal being present. And so many people think that they can buy other people's affections and love. Oh, and when I was at anxious attachment, I thought that that was like, You know what? It's not. Gifting for love is the same people that gift for apologies. Fuck. Jay. Gifting for love is the same people that gift for apologies. I just need to sit with that for a second. Jay is on fire today. You can't buy love. And if you are buying love and you buy for apologies, now there's that whole love language bullshit of gift giving. I mean, yeah, I love giving gifts. I love giving gifts, but the gifts are in addition to the effort that I put in, not a replacement of the effort I put in. I like the quiet in my head. I like the fact that I am not desperate. I like the fact that the next person that I fall in love with, it's going to be secure and real, and it's going to burn longer and be more sustainable. Like my biggest fear was here, and if I'm being real straight up with you, because here's the reality of it, folks. Here's the real anxious attachment people. Great in bed. Anxious attachment people are great in bed. And here's why. Here's why. Because they need to hook you. First off, they're chasing the dopamine. Second, they need to be great in bed so that you also get hooked on the dopamine. So it was one of those things where now that I was doing the work and all of these things, I was like, I was terrified. I was terrified that I was just going to have shitty sex. But I realized that it's not that I won't have shitty sex because first off, I have all the skills from when I was anxious attachment. So it is just that now I am actually going to be discerning about the person that I'm sharing that with, and it hits different. And I was terrified. I was like, am I never going to feel a spark again? Am I going to, everything going to be beige? And she's like, it's not beige. It's just safe. And you're not in survival mode and the dopamine's not rushing through your system. I was like, okay. She goes, trust me. I was like, okay. So I'm no longer living in fear, which is, it's so different. It is quieter. I'm no longer living from a place of insecurity. Do I have insecurities? Yes, because I'm fucking human, but I'm not living in a place of insecurity and fear that the things that I think are wrong with me are going to be the reasons that somebody doesn't love me. I'm not living in survival mode anymore. I'm not living from a place, no, you don't have any security. Boo-boo. I have plenty. I have plenty. I just don't let them drive the boat. Um, it's quiet. It's secure. It's nice. And just like Beardful Me said, it's just like it's impossible to have somebody. I was always looking for somebody to complete me. You were the missing part of my life. You are the missing piece of my life. I just knew that you were the one. Okay. I'm not there anymore. I don't need somebody. I want to be chosen and I want to choose. It's not a place of desperation. I'm no longer letting the need for the dopamine rule my life. I'm no longer needing to, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy where I am. I can't imagine going back to that. The drama, the constant need for validation, the constant need for reassurances, the constant need to just the lack of trusting that the relationship was going to be fine if if we were our own people. And that's okay. That's good. And it's quiet. I'm gonna follow for the oh thanks. It's quiet. And I like the quiet now. I don't want that intense passion. I mean, I do want passion. I just I want healthy. I want the compliments to be because they are extra. They are not substance. That's that's pretty fucking great. It's great. At first, I didn't think it was great. At first, it was like because I wasn't getting the limerence phase, I wasn't getting the intensity, I wasn't getting that whole feeling of um like it's just it is like a high. It is like a high. This person can do no wrong. They're perfect. They're wonderful. Everything about them is wonderful. Everything about them is great. Everything is like it's so intense and like you can see yourself with them forever and blah, 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 blah. Like, you literally start future casting, you really start thinking before, like, you say, "Oh, I love you," before you're 3 months in, like, 'cause trust me, that was, like if I made it to 3 months before I said I love you to someone, that was, like, rare because I was in love with somebody at least within the first month. I was saying I love you before the first like, it was bad. The need, that whole rush of the dopamine was so bad. And now it's so fucking different. And it's so like it's so it's almost unnerving. And I just oof, it's just so different and quiet. And I'm so proud of myself for the work that I've done because it was hard and it's still hard. I'm not gonna say that it was and I am, like, over that I have completely overcome all of this because I don't wanna lie and deceive you guys for any of that, but it's hard, but it's so worth it because it's not the same. Where my W-2, I need to file my emotional taxes this year. For any of those who are lurking, um, it says Dana J says, "You're my missing piece. That's a very cheap puzzle because it's not one piece in a normal puzzle that only interlocks with one other piece. If your relationship is based on the things they buy you and the compliments they pay you, you have an employer, not a partner." I don't have anything to say to that. But I'm good. I'm good. I am okay. I'm okay with the quiet. I'm okay with the secure. I'm okay. Are there some days where I need to hear I'm pretty? Yeah, because I'm everyone needs to feel like they look good. Are there days where I need to the urge to can't keep their hands off me? Yeah, that's good too. But I don't want those things to replace or be the core values of who I am in the relationship or who they are in the relationship. I'm too old for that shit. I don't have time to act like I'm 20. I don't have time. One, okay, here's a rant. I hear you want to know where I'm at in my healing and my dating and my romantic points of view. I don't have time. I do not have time for somebody to sit and talk to me all the time or need the constant reassurance. I don't have the time that I need you to reassure me. I am good. I am good. Every now and then I would really like that if you feel the urge to tell that to me, but it's not a desperate need. I don't have the time or the energy for anybody who needs so much attention that it takes away from my kids or my job or my life or who I am. Do I want to incorporate you into my life? Absolutely. But there's no there like I'm sorry. My time is and my attention is finite. My love is infinite. My attention and time is not. And so you got to understand where you are in your priorities. I understand where I am in your priorities, especially if the other person has kids. Like I don't need that. Oh, so many people, oh gosh, it's one of those. Dating in your 40s with kids is a nightmare. It's fine. It's like, don't come at me. Don't. It's like it's I don't have the time. I don't have the time or energy. I don't have the time or energy to also be your therapist, to also be your guru, to also be your mom or your housekeeper or your whatever, insert whatever role you're trying to make me into either. I don't. You need to do your own work. I need a partner. I need somebody who's going to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and to respectfully and otherwise understand that I am my own person, that I am perfectly capable of defending myself. I am perfectly capable of thinking for myself, and I am perfectly capable of doing things for myself. And not only that, but celebrating the things about me that are myself. I am not going to mold myself into somebody that you want me to be. If you want that, go find a 20 something who hasn't figured their life out. Go find somebody who is insecure about themselves that needs the constant validation. I am not a princess. I am not a damsel in distress. I do not need fucking rescuing. And there are so many men out there who want, because they are insecure about themselves. There are so many men out there that who are have not done their own work and accountability, that they are intimidated and they can't handle a woman or a partner. I'm not going to handle whoever it, Whoever is on the other side of that, whatever your preference is, I'm not going to, but for me, I can't be with a man who can't handle the fact that I can take care of my own. What I need to be with is with somebody who's going to understand that I can take care of my own, that I can do for myself, that I am smart and I'm intelligent, and I may or may not outshine you. And that's okay too. But they celebrate that and they understand and they are there and they are consistent and they support me for everything that I am, and that's not that I'm treating them any different, but they're going to stand beside me. They're not going to try and stand in front of me, and they're not going to try and stand behind me and let me do all the work. They are going to be my partner. And too many men out there want the damsel in distress. Too many people out there want the pretty princess. Too many people out there. And you know what? If that is your preference, you know what? I'm not going to yuck your yum. That's fine, but don't come to me because I am not that person. If you do not want somebody who is going to tell you how I feel and tell you the truth and tell you like it is, if you want somebody who's going to be constantly boosting your ego and constantly making myself less than so that you feel secure and better than, keep going. Just keep going.
Can't see it.
It says applause. She's like, clock it. Sir, behind your nearest IHOP Waffle House. Because I am not it. I am not it. Claps and dating trauma, right? Like, I'm no longer chasing the dopamine. I am no longer so anxiously attached that that I will be willing to, like, I mean, honey, are you sure that okay, well, you know best, even though in the back of my head I'm going, you're doing it wrong. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Oh, can you help me with this? Oh, fuck. I did that all the time. Fuck. I played Southern Stupid. Oh, I was the best at Southern Stupid. I was the best. And you put it in a Southern accent and it sounds really, really sweet. It's so fucking vapid. And I look back on myself. I look back on how, like, who I was in my 20s when I was dating and all this shit. I'm going, what? I just fucking shit. I played stupid. I played stupid so that I couldn't, but in like, because I was taught and raised like I think I remember it was a conversation about balloons because I was being very like I was popping people's balloons. She's like, and I remember my mom having this conversation about balloons. She goes, "You don't want to pop their balloons. You want to blow them up." And now I'm like, I'm 12, but it's like you want to, blow them up. Make sure that they are. You don't want to pop it. You want to. Yeah. So it was like play Southern stupid. Don't be smarter than them. Don't be. Don't they. That's not how good relationships go. Yeah, see where that got me. I am People are at different stages and where they are in their attachment work and their relationships, wants and needs. Okay, sure. Not gonna lie, that shit is my kryptonite. Hey, Darla, would you get your engine rebuilt for me? And some people are into that. I am not it. I am not it. I was it for a long time, but thanks to many hours of therapy, lots of trauma work, and self reflection, and a fuck ton of hard healing. Fuck that shit. I'm out. No, and it's fine. I think my future dates are going to involve this. I'm like, I'm going to bring out every red flag in one event and see how it does. Trauma sweet. I'm dating. I love it. That's great. And you always end up with extra pieces. It's fine. It's somewhat sturdy. But in summary, I've, in the spirit of post traumatic growth, in the spirit of healing forward out of the pain and the hurt and the grieving and the wounds, I think I think it's this is a big one for me because I don't need that anymore. And if that's something that you I and you're I guess I can because of my trauma, I can hear the old me and I can hear what I would respond to if I were still deep in my anxious attachment. I can heal. You've just never met that person. You're just jaded. You're just jaded because you've never felt that before. Bitch, I have. And it got me hurt. I felt that before. I've had that before. I've had the, oh, I knew I loved you from them. I knew you were different. I had the intensity. I don't want that anymore. And I'm proud of myself for not wanting that anymore. And all of the hard work and all of the attachment work I've done has also made me a better friend. It's made me a better mother. It's made me a better person because I am not desperate. I am not desperately needing any outside validation. I just exist as who I am in my state. And that's fucking, I never thought I'd get here if I'm being quite honest. I mean, everybody has dopamine and gets a shot of dopamine. It's just how you handle it now. And it's a really good feeling. And I never thought I would get here, if I'm being honest. I never thought I would make healthy choices and be able to make healthy choices and be okay with the consequences, good or bad. I never thought I would be again, honestly, I never thought I would be in a secure place where I would be okay with being me as I am. And I'd be okay in the calm. I never thought I would ever get to a place where I would actually be okay with somebody saying, "Hey, I'm just not into you." Okay, well, thank you for being honest with me and moving on. I never thought I would be there. I never did because I always felt like rejection was this huge thing about who I am and they want somebody else over me and why is that and all of these things and I'm still struggling with that in but I think I always will again because the anxious attachment is the foundation on which my secure attachment is built on, and so I think I'll always feel a little bit sort of that, how the rejection still stings. I mean, rejection stings for everybody, but it's not so fucking devastating. If somebody's like, "Okay," then it's not devastating. Okay, then obviously I'll lick my wounds for a couple days or maybe a week, and then I'll move on. But the rebound time, the recovery time is so different than it was when I was so severely anxiously attached than it is now. And it feels good and scary, but I'm here and I feel grounded. And I never thought I'd get there either. And it just goes to show how far I've come. And I'm allowed to be proud of that. I'm allowed to talk about it. So, yeah. Okay. Well, an hour and 40 minutes. Oh. The sign says, "Tell her she's pretty." Oh, I love my relationship with my children. They're fucking amazing. They are amazing humans. So many, so many people are like, I don't know. So many people are like, well, it's because you're a great mom. I'm like, no, they are great humans in their own right. Like they really, really are. And I am lucky that I am their mom. I'm very lucky. And they make all of the trauma work that I have done worth it so that I can be a better mother to them. Um, you're so gorgeous. You rival the 8 wonders of the world. Wow, Calvino, that was smooth. There you go, Chloe Bird. I I'm so gorgeous. I'm one of the 8 I rival the 8 wonders of the world. Oh, my sweet girl. All right. So tonight, I am pretty sure that Pep Pep's going to be doing a Let's Build with Pep Pep on his channel, Dorian Sombra on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dorian Sombra, 88th Wonder of the World. Ha ha, Jay. I know what you did there. um, that's tonight, and then also we have our friend Nev, who's Zark Nor. He also game streams on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and so he's streaming tonight as well. Then we have Mondays with Great Big Bear at Great Big Bear 205, and he's doing D&D for D. So if you like Dungeons and Dragons or are curious about learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons, it's a great stream. You go watch it. It's at 10:30 Central Time. 88's my favorite number, Calvino, because you get 8 twice. Get it? Ha. Um, so yes, so that is on Great Big Bear 205's channel. Then on Tuesday, we have 3 Bards and a Dragon with our new format, which has been quite hysterical. Last week was a little off, I think, because I was like, I didn't know what to do with my character. I was just like, eh? Um, but that is 3 Bards and a Dragon, where it's our RPG podcast. We're D&D adjacent. So we roll the D20 and let it run and ruin our lives. And our new format here recently has been, we are letting the D20 not only decide our characters, because we sort of got in a rut with being the bards and the dragon, and we will definitely go back to that. But we are letting it decide our character, and we let it decide our story, and it's been something. It's been something. I was a halfling. I was a freaking hippie. Technically a hippie. It was like a human guild something. I don't even know. But that is on Twitch _AOA or Team AOA from Twitch TV. Yeah. And then we're right back here on Sundays. So thank you for joining me on my solo stream. I know this one, I don't think did I have a rant today? I don't think I had a rant today. I didn't have an Anna rant today. I feel like I should have ended on a rant. Maybe I had a rant, but it wasn't nearly as intense today. But so thank you. Oh, hi, friends. Yeah, you did. Okay, cool. You'll just need to clip it for me because I don't remember when I had a rant. But yes, so here we are, and thank you for being with me on my solo stream. I had a lot of different topics, but I wasn't expecting to go solo until last night, or like I was thinking I had some things when Sean was like, "Hey, I've got a meeting." I was like, "Fuck." So, thank you for joining me, and we will catch you guys later, and we'll see you guys on another day. Bye. Did you really just high five over me?
No, we didn't.
Okay, we're live.
Hey.
Hello.
You don't even do that well from the front seat.
Okay.
And the bear is coming with the cup and spoon.
That's a straight up PBR for the table.
Yeah,
I think it called.
She ain't judging us at all.
Did you you really just high five over me right
No,
now?
we didn't.
Okay, we're live.
Hey.
Hello.
Wait, last week.
You don't even do that well from the front seat.
Okay.
The bear is coming with the cub and spoon.
That's a straight up PBR for the table.
Yeah.
I think it called.
She ain't judging us at all.
Did you really just high five over me right
No,
now?
we didn't.
Okay, we're live.
Hey.